Okay, this is day 22. This is the last lesson before our test. So we're going to rationalize denominators with fractional exponents. So last weekend or a few days ago we did like a, rationalizing denominators like this, right? We don't like the square root in the denominator. Remember that? Okay. So we learned how to deal with that. We're like, oh, let's multiply by rad 2. So that was one way of rationalizing. We'd say this is 2 rad 2 all over 2, and then we can simplify that and it just becomes rad 2, right? So that's one way to rationalize it. So, and then a few weeks ago we started with exponential properties, which you should know. These are of old. So we talked about things that we don't like in math, which is we don't like a negative exponent. So how do we get rid of a negative exponent, everyone?
We're gonna flip it up.
We're gonna flip it, right? It's like this is like saying n to the negative second over 1. So we're just going to take what's in the numerator and bring it into the denominator and make the exponent positive. What's left in the numerator is a 1. Okay, we already know this, okay? Here's a new rule we don't like, okay? So we don't like having radical expressions in the denominator. We don't like that, okay? So we did this process we learned. We don't like having a negative exponent. We don't like that, okay? Here's the thing we're learning today. We do not like having a fractional exponent. It's okay in the numerator, but we do not like it in the denominator. So let's say the numerator had like the number 2, and the numerator had like x to the power of 1/2. We do not like this in the denominator, okay? Fractional exponent in the denominator. That's a no-no, okay? It's okay in the numerator, but not in the denominator. So how do we get rid of it? This is the trick. Eyes up here. We want to make it the next whole number. So what's the next whole number after 1/2, everyone? What's the next whole number? 1. Okay, let's all say our whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Good, whole numbers, right? If this is the next whole number after 1/2, I want to multiply this by something that's going to get it to be x to the first power. What do I multiply x to the 1/2 with to get it to become x to the first power? Good, x to the 1/2 again. Y'all see that? Okay. And whatever I did in the numerator, or the denominator, I also do in the numerator. So we got x to the 1/2 again. When I multiply this across, we got 2x to the 1/2. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? That's the basic premise of what we're doing today. We're always thinking about what's the next whole number. We all know our whole numbers from first grade, or kindergarten, really. So, okay? All right, so let's have you talk as a group. Someone volunteer. Describe what I just did to get rid of this fractional exponent in the denominator. Ready, set, go. Okay, so now that you've discussed it, here we go. Now we're going to apply this. So these are the steps. If you're on the video, you should pause it. And everyone in the class should have written these down. But the big idea is whenever you work out your problem and you're at the end and then you have a fractional exponent in the denominator, we want to get rid of it by multiplying it with the same base and exponent that's going to get it to the next whole number, okay? So, okay, eyes up here. Here we go, numbers 1 and 2, okay? So we got x to the 3/2 over x squared, 2x squared. So we still want to do what we used to do with simplifying these, okay? So I think about my coefficients first. I know there's like a 1 in the front here, and I could just pretend that I'm going to cover the problem, and I'd be like, okay, 1/2. Can I simplify 1/2 at all, everyone? No, we can't. So I'm just going to ignore the 1/2. Those are my coefficients. Then I look at these. There's a base of x here and a base of x here. So then I ask myself, which one's smaller? Which exponent? 3/2 or 2? Which one's smaller? I know 3/2 is smaller, right? I could take all the 3/2 off the top, and I'm going to take 3/2 off the denominator. What's 2 minus 3/2? 1/2. Okay? Okay? We're going back to fractions. So this is not a new thing. So in case you're wondering what I just did, actually, in case you're wondering what I just did, sorry, I'm going to replay this a little bit. we have to think, what's 2 minus 3 halves? Well, this is the same thing as 2 over 1. Find a common denominator. 4 over 2 minus 3 halves is equal to 1 half. You all see that? Okay, so these skills from 3rd or 4th grade, you need to come back to those, okay? So now we're going to rewrite this. The numerator just has 1 times 1, which is just 1. The denominator has 2x to the 1 half. Okay, so I asked myself, okay, do I like this fractional exponent in the denominator? Yes or no? No. So now we want to get rid of it. So I think, what's the next whole number after 1 half again, everyone? 2 or 1? 1. So then I have to multiply x to the 1 half with something else, so a same base to the 1 half power, right? Because 1 half times or plus 1 half is going to be 1. And then the numerator, same thing. We're going to do the same thing in the numerator. So the numerator is going to be 1 times x to the 1 half, which is just going to be x to the 1 half. The denominator is going to be 2. And then x to the 1 half times x to the 1 half is just x to the first, or just x. Okay, and that's it. That's number 1. Okay? It's not hard. All we're doing is this extra step. Everything up until here in the orange, everything up until here is what we should already know. This is just a new step today. Okay, number 2. Looks kind of scary, I know, but let's work this out. So a to the negative second times a to the 2/3 all over a to the 3 halves all raised to 1/3. So I want to simplify things. So let's look at this numerator. A to the negative second times a to the 2/3. Okay, we want to combine those. That's like saying a to the negative second over 1 plus 2/3, right? Because they have the same base. The denominator has a base of a, but we're going to multiply, right? Because it's 3 halves raised to the 1/3, so we're going to multiply powers. You see that? So what's negative 2 first to the, or 2 first plus 2/3? Okay, well that's like saying negative 4/3, right? Okay, and then the denominator, we got 3 times 1 is going to be 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. When I rewrite this, it's like saying 1 half, right? So now I have this negative exponent from earlier. I could simplify that. I'm going to bring this negative exponent in the numerator down to the denominator. So I'm rewriting this, leaving just 1 in the numerator. I'm going to bring down a to the negative 4/3 as a to the 4/3. And then a to the 3/6 is going to be a to the 1 half. Okay? This is all stuff we should still know. Then we're see the same base in the denominator with exponents. So we're going to add the exponents since the bases are being multiplied. So we got 4/3 plus 1 half. What is that? Well, find a common denominator of 6, right? 3 times 2 is 6, so 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6, so 1 times 3 is 3. So 8 plus 3 is 11 over 6. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring across our problem 1 over a to the 11/6. Okay? Now we should be done, right? What's wrong with this problem now? Good. So what's the next whole number after 11/6, everyone? 12 what? Good. 12/6 is really like what? What's the whole number? 2, right? So what do I have to add to 11/6 to get to 12/6? 1 half? 1/6, right? So we're going to multiply the bottom times a to the 1/6 and the numerator as well. This is the new step we're doing today, which is in the orange. And then we work that across. 1 times a to the 1/6 is a to the 1/6. The denominator, when we add that together, we get a to the 2nd power. And we're done. Does that make sense? So all we're doing today is this section here that's in yellow, right? That's the new step. Or this section down here that's in yellow. That's the new step. Make sense? Everything else is kind of stuff we should already know. Okay? So this is a harder lesson, I know, but once we practice, it should be easier. So let's have, today is Tuesday, let's have threes. Threes are first today. Let's have threes. Talk to everyone about number 1. Remember, you are teaching the rest of the group. Pretend you are the teacher. If there is no 3, pick someone else that hasn't gone. And then let's have 4s talk about number 2, okay? Ready? Set, go. Again, you should write these down. If you're on the video, please pause. Kaylee, did you get the video yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, good. times, yep. Yep. Number 3, let's write down number 3, okay? I'm going to hide number 4. We're writing down number 3. Okay, so on number 3, what's the little exponent above the numerator? No, above the numerator. 5, I don't see a 5 anywhere on this problem. Okay? 1, right? So I want to see if I could simplify any of this. Which one's smaller, r to the first or r to the 1/3? Good, so we're going to, we want to get rid of that 1/3 because it's smaller than 1, and we're going to take off 1/3 out of the numerator. So what's 1 minus 1/3? Good, so it's going to be r to the 2/3 in the numerator, right? Okay, so the denominator just stays as 1. So then your answer is going to be r to the 2/3 all over 1. Anything 2 over 1 is itself, right? So do I have to rationalize the denominator on number 3? No, we're done. That's it, okay? So turn to your neighbor and tell them why we didn't have to rationalize the denominator and how we did this. Ready, set, go. Take a moment. Up. All right, continuing on number 4. Number 4. Please write down number 4 in your notes now, or I mean in your iPads or wherever you're writing this down. Number 4. Okay, so we got 2n to the 5/4 over 4n to the 7/4. Okay, let's just focus on the coefficients here. You ready? Turn to your neighbor and tell them what you could do with the 2 and the 4. What can you do with those? Okay, 2/4 becomes what, everyone? Good. So I could cover it. Sometimes you could cover the problem and be like, oh, that's 2/4. That just becomes 1/2, right? So let's uncover the rest. Now let's look at this. We got n to the 5/4 over n to the 7/4. Same base, different exponents. Which one's smaller, 5/4 or 7/4? 5/4 or 7/4? Everyone?
5/4.
5, right? Because it's smaller. It's 5/4.
Yeah.
So we're going to take off 5/4 in the numerator, leaving just 1. The denominator, we're going to take off 5 from the 5/4 or 7/4, and we're going to leave just 2/4. 2/4 is really what, everyone?
1/2.
Good, 1/2. Good. So the numerator stays as 1. The denominator is going to be 2n to the 1/2. Okay, and this could be like your final answer, right? But what's wrong with it? Talk to your neighbor really quick. Okay, what's wrong with it, everyone? Good, there's a fractional exponent right in the denominator. So what's the next whole number after n or after 1/2?
1.
So what are you gonna have to multiply the numerator and denominator by to get? Good. Okay, so I'll start you off. I'll write it in orange. I want you to finish the problem and show me what the final answer is on your whiteboards. Ready, set, go. Your answer on this one, you should have multiplied across 1 times n to the 1/2 is just n to the 1/2. And then 2, it's going to be 2 n to the 1/2 times 2 n to the 1/2 is 2n to the first, which is 2n. Okay, most of you got that right. If you made a mistake, please fix it. Talk to your neighbors about it. Okay. Excellent. Erase your whiteboards. Here we go. Number 5. Let's write down number 5. Oop. See, that's not what I want you to do. Okay, number 5. Shh. This one looks a little more crazy, right?
Whoa.
Okay, so let's just focus on the numerator. Can I do anything with the numerator, like in regards to simplifying just the numerator? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can I do anything with this numerator?
Yes.
No, we're going to leave it alone. How about the denominator? What can I do? Here's a hint. Now let's multiply. So we're taking this denominator. We're going to go a squared raised to the negative second power is going to be a to the what power? Negative fourth. Good. Bring down the rest of the problem. Okay. Next. What else can you still do in the denominator? Tell your neighbor what your strategy would be to finish the denominator. Okay, what are we doing, everyone? Multiplying.
Multiply the a negative fourth by the a 1/3.
So what do I do with my exponents, everyone? Add them. Good. So we have to do it negative 4 plus 1/3. What's negative 4 plus 1/3?
3 2/3.
Give me an improper fraction.
Negative 5 over 3.
Okay, we need a common denominator. Isn't it negative 11/3? Yes?
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. So, that's your, oopsie. There we go. Okay, so I'd like you to finish it now. We have a negative in the denominator, a negative exponent, and I'm going to come around in about 1 minute. I would like you to finish this problem off. You may or may not have to rationalize the denominator. So in the numerator, we have 5/3. We're going to bring that 11/3 up, right? Because it's negative here, so it's really like 11 to the 5/3 times to 11/3. The denominator is just 1, right? And then we think, what's 5/3 plus 11/3? Because we're multiplying the bases together, it's going to be 8 to the 16/3. There's just a 1 in the denominator, so that's it. That's your answer, right? Do we have a fractional exponent in the denominator? Yes or no? No, so do we have to rationalize? No, we're done. Okay? That was a fun problem. So turn to your neighbors, tell them where you got stuck or maybe you made a mistake. Talk. Okay. There we go. Next. Last one, number 6. Let's write this down. Okay? Give you a moment to write that down. Okay. So, looking at this numerator and denominator, let's just focus numerator first. What can I do with this numerator? Multiply, right? So we got n to the negative 4/3 times 1/2 is going to be, well, what's negative 4/3 times 1/2, everyone? I did a side problem up there. What?
4 over 6.
Negative 4 over 6, good, which is like saying
2/3.
negative 2/3, right? So we're going to bring that there. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about that denominator. We could simplify some of that. We got n to the negative first to the 1/2. What's negative 1 times 1/2? Good, so it's like we could say this is like negative 1/2, right? You see that? What do I do with my two fractions if they are, we have bases that are being multiplied? What do we do with 3/2 and negative 1/2? Add them, good. So we're going to take 3/2, add negative 1/2, okay? What's 3 plus a negative 1?
2.
What? No, it's positive 2. 3 plus a negative 1 is positive 2. Or you could look at it this way. If we have positive and negative, this is like really saying like a minus. Okay? And what's 2 over 2 really equal to?
1.
Good. So this is really like saying n to the first power, right? Yes?
C.
Okay, good. What do you tell your neighbors? Tell them what's kind of weird about this problem right now that you have to deal with. Do we like negative exponents? No, so we have to get rid of that now. So it's where do we put that negative 2/3? On the bottom, right? So we got, or the opposite side. So we got n to the first times 2/3 in the denominator now. Numerator has 1. Okay? Okay, so now I have a 1 in the numerator. Let's simplify that denominator. What am I supposed to do with the denominator? We had it, right? What's 1 plus 2/3, everyone?
1 plus 2/3 is going to be 1 2/3.
It's an improper fraction. What's 1 plus 2/3 as an improper fraction?
1.
Okay, wow. I'm gonna assign more AM problems to you that. Yeah, because you need practice, not to punish you, but because you really do need to practice. So what's 3/3? Oh, plus 2/3.
5.
What is it?
5/3.
Good, 5/3. Okay, so 5/3. I couldn't hear you. Okay, so the denominator is n to the 5/3. Are we done now?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Simplify it.
Now, what? Talk to your neighbors. What do you still have to do? And explain the rest of the problem. You're not lost. You got this. Persevere. Keep going. You got this. Okay, so what's the? Let's have you finish the problem. What's the next whole number after 5/3, everyone? 6.
7.
Whole number. Let's go through it. Whole numbers again. 1. Everyone. 2, 3.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, good. So what's the next whole number after 5/3?
1, 2.
2. Thank you. Okay, so finish up my problem. I'm gonna check on your work. Here we go. So this last one, we have 1 over n to the 5/3. We have to multiply it. We have to do it. We have to get an answer of n squared on the bottom, right? Because remember, 5/3 is like saying what Braden said, 1 and 2/3. So how many more to get to 2? 1/3. So I have to multiply by n to the 1/3 in the denominator and also in the numerator. Does that make sense? Yes? So then 1 times n to the 1/3 is n to the 1/3, and then that's your answer. Okay. Turn to your neighbors and share where you may have made a mistake or how to fix it. Ready, go.
Okay, I get it.
Okay. That concludes the lesson.